Hey, how you doing today? I am Taquila Coleman. In today's video, we're going to talk about a time for everything. I want to encourage your spirit in knowing that God is in control of everything. God is in control of this God-ordained love story. He is not going to have you waiting years, okay, for your person to come into agreement with this love story. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he has a set time, an appointed time for when this love story will come together. Okay. Now, I want to start by turning your attention to the appointed time. Okay. Because there's an appointed time for everything. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, it talks about the vision awaits its appointed time, right? And the vision is the very thing that God promised you. The vision is what God's showing you in your dreams and in your vision, right? God is saying when he show you these visions in your dream or in your vision, he's letting you know there's an appointed time when this is going to manifest, right? So don't allow the enemy to keep you confused. Don't allow the enemy to trick you up and have you thinking when God show you these things, it's happening now. No, what God is showing you and revealing to you in your dreams and in your vision is going to happen at its appointed time. Put that in the chat. The vision has an appointed time. When I looked up appointed time in the concordance of the Bible, it also means appointed place. So there's an appointed place that God has to bring you into. Okay. Not only does the vision have an appointed time, but also another thing that God is doing is he's bringing you into your appointed place. Okay. So in this God ordained love story, God is going to have you in transition, right? Don't be shocked if you're constantly moving, constantly, like just moving around. God, he might station you right here for a few months and then have you move. What he is doing, he is getting you in alignment, and having you go in that direction towards that appointed place. Okay. But appointed time means in the concordance, appointed place, appointed meeting. You hear that? Appointed meeting. So there's an appointed time where God has already declared in the heavenly realm where he is going to have you and your God ordained future spouse to sit down and have this meeting with one another. It's an appointed time. Okay. So put that in the chat. Appointed time, appointed place, and appointed meeting. Okay. It's God already, he got this love story figured out. Okay. You don't have to worry. Don't allow the enemy to torment your mind because God already has all of these things figured out. Okay. He already know when this conversation is going to happen. He already know when he's going to reconcile this God ordained love story. It's at its appointed time. Now, appointed time also refers to season and time. There's a fixed time, there's a due season, right? So after we have winter, spring, summer, fall, but then we also had that due season that God brings you into where you are due. Okay, you are due what is rightfully yours, right? So um understand God, he got this love story figured out. Now, Psalms 102 verse 13, it say the time to favor her. Get excited. God said, I have a time already set to favor you. I don't know if you hear this. He said, I already have a set time that he's going to pour down his favor upon your life. All you got to do is stay obedient to the Lord. All you got to do is stay in alignment with the Lord because he said, as you continue to be obedient to God and you follow his instruction, he said, I'm going to favor you. I'm going to give you ridiculous favor. I'm going to give you favor that don't even make sense to man. I'm going to favor you so good that people would know that is God's child right there. Okay. So favor also has an appointed time. All right. And then the Lord led me to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 24. It say, the Lord of hosts has sworn, as I have planned, so shall it be. And as I have purpose, so shall it stand. So again, this is letting us know God is in control of everything. God is in control of everything. This is his plan. Okay, and what he purposed for your life, it shall stand. It doesn't matter who try to come up against it. It doesn't matter, how much the enemy try to block it or delay it, or try to destroy it. God said, because this is his purpose that he has already, destined for your life, it's going to come to pass. Okay, so you just got to stay in alignment with God, and continue to walk this out by faith. Now, let's go over to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, starting at verse 1, it say, there is a time for everything. I need you to understand that there's a time for everything. There's a time, that when God is going to bring you into this, your God ordained love story, there's a time for you and your spouse to sit down and have this conversation. There's a time for your healing. There's a time for your vindication. There's a time for justice. There's a time where God is going to clear your name. There's a time where God is going to release your harvest. There's a time for everything. Okay. It say there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. Let's stop right here, because this is also referring to, yes, it's referring to a natural born and then a natural death, but also this is referring to the seed that God placed on the inside of you. It's a time. See, remember I talked about in a previous video, when God tells you that you have a God ordained marriage promise, he planted the seed in you. It's now up to us to develop this baby. It's now up to us to give birth. Okay. Like, we got to take this seed and go through these stages, go through the months. Okay. Um, these the season of development, right? And there will be a time when you will give birth to the baby that God promised you. Okay. So this is telling us there's a time to be born. There's a time where you will be born, meaning where you will come into the calling that's on your life. That's when you're born. When God give you revelation, I have called you for this very thing right here. I have called you. This is your purpose. This is why I created you. And you step into that and you're not afraid of it. That's when you are born. Okay. And it's a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot. So understand, when he talk about a time to plant, there's a time for you to plant these seeds of prayer in the ground. Okay. We got to put the seeds of prayer in the ground. We got to plant seeds of faith in the ground. We got to plant seeds of fasting in the ground. We got to plant seeds of obedience in the ground. Okay. We got to plant seeds, in alignment with our calling in the ground. So there's a time to plant and then a time to uproot. There's a time to uproot the very thing that don't belong in this God ordained love story. Understand, God knows exactly what he's doing. Okay. At its appointed time, God said, I'm going to uproot everything that the enemy has planted in this God ordained love story. God said, at its appointed time, Vashi is going to be uprooted and you are going to take your seat. Okay. So get excited, because God, he know what he's doing. He got this figured out. It's a time to kill and a time to heal. It's a time to kill your flesh. It's a time where God want to humble you. It's a time where God said, I want to kill that pride in you. It's a time where God said, I want to destroy that hardened heart. It's a time. Okay, it's a time to go through all these things. And then he said, then I'm going to bring you into your season, into your time where it's time that I'm going to heal you. I'm going to bring you into this period of healing hitting your body, healing hitting your mind, healing hitting your finances, healing hitting your relationships. It's a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build. Let me say that again. A time to tear down and a time to build. The tearing down is, it looks like God stripping things out of your life. The tearing down is God removing people out of your life. The tearing down is you losing things, losing jobs. God moving you. You may have even lost your house. God is tearing down what you built. That was the house built on sand. He said, I'm about to tear all that down. Okay. And when God tear all of that down, that's when you go into isolation. That's when you're like, God, what is going on? I don't understand this. You got me out here all by myself. I don't understand. My life look like it's falling apart. No, that's God tearing down what you built. And he's now, as he gives you instruction and you follow these instruction, his instruction is teaching you how to build this new life. He's building your new life on the right foundation. So don't hold on to things that God is telling you to let go of. If God is telling you to move, move. If he's telling you to let go of this friend, let him go. If he's telling you, okay, get away from this person, get away from him. If he's telling you to let go of this job, let it go. He's tearing down and he's repositioning you, getting you planted on the right foundation. Verse 4, it say a time to weep and a time to laugh. Okay, it's a weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. Okay, you may be going through a season of weeping. You may be depressed. You may be sad right now. You may be unhappy, disappointed, questioning everything. But listen, God says your laughing season is coming. Come on now. He said you're about to laugh. He said you're going to get that joy back. All right. He said, come on now. This is only for a season. This weeping, this depression, it's only for a season. Okay, God said, I'm going to bring you into joy. I'm going to get your happiness back. I'm going to put that smile back on your face. All right, a time to mourn and a time to dance. You're going to be dancing. Come on now. Yeah, you're going to be dancing. When God brings you into this season, you are about to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. You hear that? There's a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. That sounds like divine separation. That sounds like God is saying, let go of your prodigal. There's a time where God is going to tell you, refrain from communication, refrain from this person. And then he's going to bring you back, okay, into agreement or covenant with this individual. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away, right? A time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak. Listen, when heartache and pain hit your heart, when a prodigal is acting up, God said, be silent. When the enemy come after you and slander your name, falsely accusing you, God said, be silent. It's not the time to speak yet. He said, there's a time to be silent and then there's a time to speak. God is who opened up communication. God is the one who tells you, go ahead and start speaking. Go ahead and start rebuking. Go ahead and share your testimony. Okay? Go ahead and, whatever God is telling you to do. Okay? A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. So there's a time where God is going to throw you in spiritual warfare and teach your hands how to fight. There's a time where you have to go through this training. The training has a time period. And once you're done going through the level 1 training, that I call it, then God said, I'm going to bring you peace. I'm going to give you peace on every side. I'm going to make your enemies to live at peace with you because you passed level 1. All right. So understand there's a time for everything. God is in control of this God-ordained love story. And just don't get discouraged. Okay. Keep your hope alive. Understand there's an appointed time for your love story. There's an appointed time, where all these vision and dreams God is showing you is going to come to pass. There's an appointed place that God is bringing you into. There's an appointed time for you and your spouse to have this conversation. Okay. So stay focused, continue to be obedient, and continue to walk by faith and not by sight with the Lord. All right. So with that, I am Taquila Coleman. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.